fours, or whenever you're watching this, happy Thursday. I just wanted to check in and do some math with you today. In addition to these videos, it would be really helpful if you could practice your multiplication and division today. I will be posting some math game videos to my YouTube channel. Some of those would be great for practicing multiplication, but there are also some games in your packet that was sent home, or even just getting someone to give you a quiz. So make sure that today you make a point of trying to practice your multiplication for at least 10 minutes on top of what you're doing here. If you could pick a multiplication table that maybe is tough for you, so I know in grade 4 we're working up to 5 times 5, but any of the tables would be helpful to practice because you're going to need them, and the more you know them, the more facts are familiar and the easier it'll be to do math. So that's in addition to this video today, I'm hoping that you can find a little bit of time to practice your math facts for multiplication and division. That'd be very helpful. All right, let's get started with our math. So grab your booklet and a pencil and let's go.
All right, grade 4s, let's get started with some math. So it says to draw a rectangle with an area of 24 square units. So we need to think of a way that we can make 24 using multiplication, because that is going to help us. So think of your facts that are 24. So 2 times 12 is 24. And it has to be a rectangle. So you have to think of something times something equals 24. Okay, so I am going to go with 2 times 12. So I would draw, again, it's hard to use my ruler, but I'm going to draw 12. Let's go with, I don't think I have enough room for 12 centimeters. I can just do this, watch. Boo, ba-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo. And then I did 6. And then, because it doesn't say centimeters, it says units. So I'm just doing mine the best I can here as units. Okay, there's 1 unit, or 2 units. And then I'm going to make a rectangle. Now, I can't do anything times, I have to make sure that it's 2 different numbers that I'm multiplying together. So I've got 2, 2, 12, and 12. All right, and we find area by going, it's not perimeter, so we don't add it all up. We find area by going length, 12, times width, 2. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 units squared. All right, number 2, what is the area of this shape? Now, I just told you to find your area, you go length times width. So length is 7 times 4. So all you have to do is do 7 times 4, which is, think about it. Yes, it's 28. So it'll be 28 units squared. We put that little 2 up there to show that it's squared. That means you could fit 28 little squares in there. Okay, draw a rectangle with a perimeter of 12 units. Now for that, we're doing a rectangle, we can be a little bit freer with it. So you just have to think of how you're going to add up to 12. So maybe it's, so 6 plus 6 is 12. I could do 4 and 4, so that's 8. And then I could do 9, 10, 11, 12. So I can do across here could be 4. And across here could be 4, and that's going to get me to 8. Now I'm going to do 2 centimeters here, or 2 units here, and 2 units here. Let's add it up. 4 and 4 is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That worked. All right, number 4. What time is it? Let's look. So we've got, it's almost 9 o'clock, right? It hasn't quite hit 9 o'clock. It's 8:55. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. It's 8:55. It's almost at 9, but it's not quite. 8:55. All right. How many minutes are in 4 hours? So there's 60 minutes in an hour times 4 hours. So the easiest way to do this is to do 6 times 4 is 24. Sorry, I should have paused and made you think. And then add a 0 because it's 60 times 4. That's the easiest way to do it. Okay, the world's largest spider is the Goliath spider. It's going to give me nightmares. Which can grow to be 11 inches wide. The black widow spider can grow to be up to 0.25 centimeters or inches wide. How many black widow spiders would it take to get the same width as one Goliath spider? So I'm going to show you something. 0.25 is 1/4. So there are 4 black widow spiders to 1 Goliath spider. Or sorry, to 1 inch. Never mind. This is really confusing. So four black widow spiders to an inch. So to 1 inch. So 4 black widow spiders for 1 inch, but the Goliath spider is 11 inches wide. So we have to multiply 4 by 11 inches. So that would be 44 spiders. So it would take 44, do you feel creepy crawly yet? It would take 44 black widow spiders to equal 1 Goliath spider in width. And I'm going to draw my face because, oh my goodness, spiders are scary to me. There's no real reason to be scared of spiders, but some people, your teacher included, just don't love them. All right, so color 1 part red, color 1 part yellow, and color the rest of the circle green. So I'm going to do my best with the colors I have. I have a yellow highlighter here, so I will do 1 part. It's going to be yellow. Okay, 1 part is going to be green. And 1 part is going to be pink because I don't have a red handy. Now, what fraction of the circle is red? 1 out of 3. What fraction of the circle is yellow? Well, I have 3 parts, and I have 1 of those that is yellow, so 1/3. What fraction of the circle is green? This is easy. I have 1 out of 3 possible parts that are green. All right, let's move on to the next. All right, so we're going to practice this rule, the commutative property. So we know that when we multiply 2 numbers, we'll get the same product no matter how we multiply them. For an example, 2 times 8 is the same as 8 times 2. We get the product of 16. This is called the commutative product of multiplication. Let's practice this with grids. Write 2 multiplication equations to represent each one. So looking here, you can practice this. So I have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, 2, 3. So 6 times 3 and 3 times 6. So they're the same. It doesn't matter which way I turn this grid. See, if I turn it this way, then it's 6 groups of 3. And if I turn it this way, it's 3 groups of 6. But the number doesn't change, which means the product doesn't change. So no matter what, you're going to get 18 and 18 for your product. All right, on to the next one. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 times 5 or 5 times 4. Okay? And again, it doesn't matter which way I turn this. So this is 4 groups of 5, but this way, it's 5 groups of 4. Either way is good. So what I'm going to have you do is 4 times 5 is 20, and 5 times 4 is 20. Easy peasy. All right, let's move on to the next one. So this was groups of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 2. 5 groups of 2 is 10. And 2 groups of 5 is 10. Remember, it doesn't matter which way I flip my paper. Okay, write your own definition of commutative property and provide an example. For this, I just want you guys to think about what it means. So you could say the number of squares doesn't change when I turn the paper. No matter how you arrange your arrays. So 6 times 2 is 12, and 12 times 6, or sorry, 2 times 6 is 12, not 12 times 6. I've been making a lot of videos today. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you, that it doesn't really matter which way you do it. If you wanted to grab some pennies or something that you could build an array with, you could practice this on your own too. So it says, look at the product in each box. Use the commutative property to write 2 different equations for each product. So you just have to think, okay, 28. What, I can think of something that is a fact with 28. Just thinking. So 4 times 7 is 28. So 4 times 7 is 28. But that also means that 7 times 4 is also 28. Okay, so there's 2 different ways to do this, but they have the same answer. 120. So 12 times 10 is 120. And 10 times 12 is 120. And again, if you're having a hard time thinking up these facts, you need to practice. You should be spending some time today to practice your multiplication and division facts, because this should come by grade 5. It shouldn't take too much brain power to think of your facts. And if you think you're really putting a lot of brain power into those facts, then I want you to really practice them today. Okay, 15. So I know 3 times 5 is 15. And 5 times 3 is 15. 42. So try to think, what do I know that's a 42? I know that 6 times 7 is 42. So that means that 7 times 6 is also 42. All right, 35. I can think of one right away, and it's a 5 times table. Can you think of a 5 times 2 factors where 1 is 5 that equal 35? Yes, 5 times 7. 5 times 7 is 35. 7 times 5 is 35. All right. So why do you think commutative property is useful? Well, you don't need to know the fancy word for it, but once you learn a fact, you've already learned the turnaround fact. So it just helps you to learn your multiplication facts a little quicker. So maybe today, if you wanted to practice writing out your multiplication facts, say you're practicing 6s. So 6 times 2 is 12, and then also write out 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, so practice a little bit of your facts today, please. Especially if when you were doing that with me, you didn't understand how I was picking up those facts so fast. So if you couldn't think of different multiplication facts that equaled each of these numbers here, then I'd really like you to go right now and practice those facts.
For you, and helped you if you were stuck, or maybe just helped you make sure you're on the right track. It would be awesome if you could, again, find some time today to practice those math facts. It would be really great, and it'll make the work that we're doing a little bit easier for you. It uses less of your mind power trying to remember the facts and free up that space in your mind to be able to think about the numbers, right? Which is also important. And remember the steps to the algorithm and understand what's going on. So on that note, happy practicing. You can always go on SumDog if you want to practice, but find some way to practice today or reflex. And I'll see you back here tomorrow for more math.